This is Needy and Normal. I'm your host, Ashley Levering, mom, wife, and life coach. After years of experience and learning from my own life, one thing is clear: meeting your needs is essential for living a better life. No, you're not needy. Having needs is normal, and your needs matter. I'm calling bullshit on finding balance today. Maybe I'm way off, but here's why I'm calling us out. Because balance is something we all strive for. It's lingo we use just as much as, oh, I'm just so busy. I'm just trying to find balance. I'm sure you've done it. I know I have. And here's why I feel like it's bullshit. Not that it's not achievable. It absolutely is. But it's not always easy. In fact, I would say most of the time, it's not easy to achieve. Part of that is, what does balance look like? There's the balance that society has put out, that influencers and media has put out. And then there's balance that's actually realistic to you and your life. I do think balance is achievable in lots of different aspects of your world. What I don't believe in, it's always going to be equal. It's always going to be fair. It's always going to be consistent. I don't think it's realistic for us to make ourselves believe that achieving balance looks this way. Life is wonky. Life changes constantly. As a transition coach, these are things that I experience in life, but I see in my clients, I hear in their work, the things that they come to me with that they want to work on. And balance is so big. I do think it is a really, really healthy, wonderful thing to want to achieve. Everyone should go after that. But again, is it defined by you, or is it defined by what balance might look like? Here's my argument. It is a mental workout, quote unquote, finding balance. I do believe that it's a mental thing, and I also believe that it's a decision. Sometimes just choosing to accept what's happening in your day, your week, your month, and calling that the balance that you're going to find right now, sometimes that's okay. And just deciding so and accepting it as such. And it is a mental thing. This is a very big mindset workout, if you will, because first of all, you have to decide what balance actually looks like to you. And you kind of have to accept that it's going to fluctuate and it's going to change, and you have to be flexible, and things are going to happen that are out of your control. And the things that make you feel at the end of the day like, oh, that was a good day. I did this, and this, and this, and this, right? Is it checking boxes that makes you feel balanced? Is it how you feel? Is it making sure that all your family members and your boss and your coworkers and your house is all accommodated? Is it about your own self-care? Like, how do you measure your own balance? And some balance is a must. If you think of basic needs, taking care of yourself is part of balance in your day. I mean, think about the word balance. Part of your balanced breakfast. I mean, you've heard that in commercials, right? So what does that look like for you? So are you taking care of yourself to the point where at the end of the day, you're thinking, yep, I did a good job taking care of me. Can we call that balance? That's a mindset. That's a decision. And that counts. Because sometimes there's chaos in our days, and sometimes it's stressful and overwhelming, and we just need to get to the end of the day and take a breath and think, okay, that was a lot today, and tomorrow's a new day. And tomorrow maybe we'll achieve more balance for ourselves. So I just feel like we have to look at this as, yes, an overall picture. Like, do I feel like my life has balance in it overall? Great. Again, that's also a decision on how you look at it. It's a perspective. It's a mindset. And then also just take bite-sized pieces. Look at it day by day. How did I feel balanced in my day today? Did I do equal parts, as close to my abilities as I could, of the things that matter to me? And that's kind of how I look at it. If you look at a pie chart. Maybe draw one for yourself. I think of my self-care. I think of how my kids are doing. I think of the house, including the dog. I think of the business. And I look at those pieces. And then I kind of have my miscellaneous section, right? Because things just come up. And so, not that this is something I do, but just for a visual, you can kind of see where you put emphasis, what things in your life actually get the bigger pieces of your pie. And when those pieces of your pie are tended to, heck, you can call that balance. So at the end of the day, I might look in more of a reflection moment and think, are my kids healthy today? Did they get what they needed? Do I feel healthy today? Did I get what I needed? What's going on with the house? What priorities did I take care of and what can wait? Do I feel overall that everything is okay and I can actually sit down? Like, there's my cue. Maybe some things were left undone. Maybe there's a checkbox that didn't get checked. But if there's an overall mindset practice that you can set for yourself, it's finding balance every day, no matter what, no matter how things go. Some balance is only achievable some of the time or when we get lucky. Like, this is just real life, and that's okay. And being okay with things being unbalanced is sometimes the way to go. Because if you can accept that, you're a lot quicker to de-escalate the feelings in your body of underachieving and not being enough and feeling out of control or unbalanced. So it is a decision. I truly believe that. Now, again, when it comes to balance and choices, let me tell you a fun story. I am a really big fan of spending quality present time with our family, with our kids. It's like my favorite thing in the whole world. But often, and you know this if you've been listening, I am a solo parent and I have all the responsibilities plus the joys of motherhood, with being present, hanging out with my kids. And sometimes I have to take care of all of those responsibilities, at least the essential things, when my kids want my attention. And I have to make a choice of where to draw the line, what can I absolutely put down right now, what absolutely needs to be finished, because I do want to give undivided attention. And I don't feel balanced when that happens. I feel kind of crazy in my mind and in my life, thinking I've got to do all these things, but I want to show up. And so it is a mental thing and it is a choice. And my daughter full blown called me out the other day and she used the word never. You never play dolls with me. You're always in the kitchen. She even used the word butler. She's like, you're basically our butler. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I am your mother and I am busy and I am, I'm using all those words that we all are guilty of using. And I started making excuses to my daughter, and then I had to take a breath and take a step back and realize, okay, this is a really good moment for me to do a priority check, because for me to feel like I've given attention to all the things that need attention, it really needs to go in order of importance. And the dishes are not more important than playing dolls with my daughter. And the word never really got under my skin. And I started to feel shame. I started to feel bad. I started to feel like I haven't been choosing things correctly. And I really was thinking about it. I did tell her, I said, okay, let me finish this one dish and I'll be right there. And I was trying to fully hijack myself so I could go lend my mothering, playful time with her to her. But I really thought about this, and what kind of priorities am I putting before the things that matter to me? If I really look at my pie chart again, right? If I really reflect on the things that need my attention, that I need to give attention to, that really truly fall in that category of important to me, like, what am I doing? And it made me think. And so I did put down the dishes. I don't like when dishes are not done. It kind of irritates me. I want to go back and finish them, but I really had to stop and pay attention to my daughter because she deserves my attention. That's where I want my attention to go. If I'm looking at what's more important, taking care of the house is important, but not more important than building a relationship with my children. So I stopped and I played with her. And towards the end of our playtime together, I said, Logan, I really appreciate you calling me out. I think that it hurt my feelings to hear you say that I never play with you. But I understand, and I don't want you to feel that way. So let's figure out, how we can play more together. And thank you for bringing it to my attention. And I really wanted to honor her feelings. But I also wanted to hold myself accountable by verbally accepting her complaint and saying out loud, I want to fix this. So I told her as we approach summer, while I'm recording this, we're about done with school. And I know this is happening to a lot of us out there, but I told her, I want to play with you more. I want to be more present. You are so important to me. I'm sorry if you felt like the dishes were more important. They're not. They're absolutely not. They're just responsibilities, and I have lots of them. So basically we ended up talking about like, let's share some responsibilities so that we can have more time to be together. Or, I promise that we'll set aside time so we can be together and do fun things together, so that you don't have to say, Mom, you never play with me. Broke my heart, to be honest. But my shame showed up, and I really had to take a breath and really process that and think about it. And so it ended up being a good conversation, but it was a good reset and a refocus for me to revisit that pie chart. It's easy to refer to it as that, and reflecting on what does balance look like to me. And so hopefully you're considering those important elements in your life, things that show up inevitably, things that are always going to be a priority, things that you love to do, people you want to be around, ways that you need to tend to yourself and others if you're responsible or caregiving for others. Maybe you're thinking about this, and I came up with this term. See if you like it. Use it, don't use it, take it or leave it, but I call it positive survival. If we think of basic needs and basic ways to survive, that can be a positive thing. If you think of the ways we need to get through the day with waking up, brushing our teeth, eating breakfast, moving our body, drinking water, feeling taken care of. Basic self-care is a positive way to survive. Because that's what we're doing, right? We're here on earth. We need to do the things that help us survive, but also thrive. So I know I've talked about survival mode before, and that can be a very negative thing. And often when we get into quote unquote survival mode, we're not doing so hot, right? It's too much. We're overwhelmed. We're overstressed. We're getting through each day. We're most likely not taking care of our bodies. You've probably been here. So if you think of positive survival, it's doing basic needs and doing the things that are positive in order for you to get from wake up to go to sleep and feel good about it. Something that you could be grateful for. Oh, I really tended to all those things to positively survive today. So if you need some words to work on your mindset, am I positively surviving today, or am I in survival mode? And let me also add, routine is really important. And so when you're trying to positively survive and find that balance and make sure things are in your world that matter to you every day, or at least spread out throughout the week, we can kind of get into a routine. So there are parts of your routine that are absolutely essential. I will use brushing your teeth as an example. Hopefully everybody listening brushes your teeth every day, twice a day, right? It's a non-negotiable. It is something that happens no matter what. It's part of your positive survival. It's part of your balance because you're taking care of yourself, right? So maintaining those essential routine activities throughout your day, throughout your week is really, really important. And if there's anything that feels essential now that is in danger of being given up, please bring attention to that. I'll use exercise. As we enter into summertime, often parents feel, well, I need to give up my exercise because my kids are here. My kids need me. Let me just throw back at you. If that is part of your positive survival and your balance and something you need, don't give that away, because most likely you'll regret or resent because of it. And you will lose some of that balance that is just enough to keep you going. If there are things on that list like exercise, or maybe you have silence, maybe you have time that's just quiet for you to focus on reading a book or getting some work done or just meditating and not even dealing with the world. If there's something like that in your routine, you don't have to give that up, because you do end up sacrificing your balance and your positive survival. So if there are things that you can maintain and call them your no matter what's, your non-negotiables, the rest has a little more flexibility. But I always encourage 3 essentials, like 3 non-negotiables a day, a week. Make sure they stay there, especially as things change around you, especially as you move into a new season, a new time in your life, a new chapter. Maintain those key routines, because they will help you feel like you're thriving, feel like you're in a positive headspace, and you will feel more of that balance. So if it's harder to just attach your mindset and make those decisions like, well, today was a little off and I wasn't totally on my game, but I still feel balanced because of XYZ, it's kind of a sure thing if you think about it. For example, the other day I had a wild day. I was really trying to check all the boxes and do all the things, and I felt like I was in my car constantly, but there were 3 key things that I made sure were in my day. 1 was exercising, 2 was sticking to the diet that I chose for myself, and 3 was spending time with my kids, quality time where I really looked at them, talked to them, paid attention to them. So all the other stuff might have happened and got that done, and some of it didn't get done, but those 3 things happened. That was a win. So I felt like, well, I achieved balance because I did at least those 3 essential things that really matter to me to feel good about my life and to feel like we're on track, if you want to put it that way. Lastly, I'll say, don't wait. I know we've all said it. I know you've said it. Well, one day I can relax, or at the end of the week I can relax, or one day I'll find balance, or maybe next year, or when the kids are done with school, or when I'm, done with this job, or whatever. We always put some kind of timeline on it, on our relax, and giving ourselves permission to be okay with how our life is going. I encourage you to find a way to be okay with how your life is going, no matter what. You can always find those positive, essential things to enter into your day and your week, so you have something to bank on as a win, to feel like, yes, I'm doing those things that are really important to me no matter what's happening. So instead of pushing your relax and your balance and feeling like everything's fine, feelings out and pushing them out to another time in no man's land, grab onto it now. Balance is really tough. It is not always going to feel like you did absolutely everything you set out to every single day, every minute of every single day. It's not real. But in your mind, you can give yourself a positive survival pat on the back. So here's the takeaways for today. Balance is bullshit. No. Balance is achievable, but if you're being realistic and honoring the fact that it's not easy because you're a human being and life is life, know that even if it's not always equal or fair or complete, that you can find balance in a mental capacity and choose those 2 to 3 things to get done and make sure is in your day every day, and have them be something positive and achievable and non-negotiable, so you can always, even if your day is crazy, have something to say, well, I'm glad I did those things because those things matter the most. Does that make sense? And maintain whatever kind of routine you can, even when things are changing. And I would say especially when things are changing, your self-care goes beyond what society claims is self-care. Taking care of you, break it down, is caring for yourself. What does that look like? And I did a post on Instagram recently, a vision practice that I do with clients that I shared. What do you want your life to look like? That's the grand scale. But you can break that down. What do you want today to look like? What do you want this week to look like? How do you want to feel? And if you want to feel stressed and overwhelmed, which is highly unlikely, then okay. But my guess is you want to feel calm and joy and achievement and peace and good things, right? Break it down. And don't bite off more than you can chew if you don't have to. Life is busy enough. Make sure you give yourself a win every day. Somehow, you're allowed. And remember that finding balance is often a mindset shift, and knowing that you can feel balanced as a decision by what you accept and what you allow, and honestly, what you don't allow. You don't have to let anything negative seep in to something that went well. If you had a pretty good day and then something negative happens or some negative thought enters your mind, you don't have to accept that to an extent that it ruins what you've achieved for yourself that day. So if you're in the middle of patting yourself on the back and something negative comes in, you can tell that negative to just piece right off, because you deserve the win. Your needs matter because you matter. Thanks for being here. Take care. The Needy and Normal podcast is brought to you by ABL Life Coaching. Visit ablifecoaching.com to explore what life coaching with a transition coach is like and schedule your own free consultation. Thank you so much for listening today. If you liked this episode, please share it, rate it, and follow it so you don't miss an episode. And come back next week. If you're curious about coaching, visit ablifecoaching.com or find me at ABL Life Coaching on Instagram. And you can now follow Needy and Normal Pod on Instagram as well.